Greetings. I'm Dr. Tim Mitchell, Director of Fine Arts for Flint Hill School, and it's my pleasure to introduce, for 2020, the annual Fine Arts Awards. This year we're doing something really exciting. Each of our nominating teachers has interviewed the awardees, and so today we're going to get to hear a little bit about the special experiences they've had and maybe even share in some of the work that they've made as artists at Flint Hill School. And to all of our students and everyone who's a member of the arts community at Flint Hill School, I want to congratulate all of you for your work this year, and we look forward to a bright future together.
The FIRTH Award is presented to a senior student who is a member of the Percussive Arts Society, active in the community, mentor, demonstrates leadership, maintains high standards, and versatile performer, and committed to the ensemble. I have the privilege of working with you, Olivia, for over 30 years. No, for a long time. And as a student, you have been very strong, very patient, for the entire fine arts program. You helped me with mentoring students at the upper school level. You have a strong supporter of me and my leadership and the students as well. Talk about briefly your highs and your experience from playing in ensemble.
I was very apprehensive going into freshman year, and I think it's because I wasn't really confident in my ability and I was just very unconfident with myself. But I bit the bullet and I went into freshman year pretty nervous, and it made it so easy to be acclimated and to just want to succeed with all the community and the people there and just the culture of just wanting to succeed, wanting to do better. I am a more confident person. I am more personable, and I'm a better person because of music and percussion and the community.
So, Layla, the Achievement Award is presented to a first to third year student that has had a significant impact on the entire percussion program. Over the last year, you have shown and been extremely motivated and invested in percussion and in education. You have been motivated not only as a well-rounded percussionist, but your peers have noted that you have really stepped up and felt comfortable being the only mallet player in the section. I have witnessed specifically this year a consistent level of your professional integrity in all areas. Through this commitment, your confidence and your communication develop in all areas. So the Emerging Award is presented to Layla Simmons.
What I like about percussion is that it's so rewarding. I put so much time and effort into it, and it comes out great. I stuck with it because I knew if I left it, I would really miss it, and I would complain about it. I think T&E was very fun. It was very out of my comfort zone because it was in front of a lot of people.
And on the front row, I know you don't like crowds. You don't like to speak in front of people, but I've noticed a big difference over the last year, and that's why I'm excited to award you this, and hopefully your senior year can be very motivating and rewarding for you. So the Director's Award is presented to a student that not only embraces percussion performance and education, but Flint Hill School's core values as well. As a section leader, a gentleman, and an impact player, you have always been willing to accept the most challenging battery parts, mentor others, and let me know when I'm falling short of our standards. I'm happy to present this award to you, Cadence Hennett. Thank you so much.
Flint Hill Percussion's been, it's the highlight of high school for me. It's the thing I've been in the longest. With 8 years, it's crazy how fast it's gone. It's really been a highlight for me. When you have that sort of bond with a music group or something, anything like that, it's going to make the playing a lot better because you feel a lot more comfortable around each other. So, you feel like it's more okay to make a mistake or whatever.
It's been great having you.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure being your students. I really appreciate you being the same teacher for 8 years.
Cadence, you have to know I appreciate you too. You made me a better teacher, and especially, you and Will coming out to hear me play and things like that. We learned from you guys too. I'm still learning how to be a better person before I can be a better teacher and so forth. So I appreciate that.
What do you feel like inside of yourself? What do you feel clay has taught you?
Throughout, all of ceramics and all of making is trial and failure, and then revising your process, and it's just failing, repetitively. It is, right? Like the first time you throw, you're technically failing. You get something from each time you fail. But it was some point in there that I kind of like felt like locked into like what I have to do throwing. I remember my teapot. That was like I was like, dang, like that's a pretty strong piece.
Of course, your practice is strong all around, but that coupled with how generous you are and how you mentor and share and respond and give feedback. You just have so many fine qualities in how you engage in our community. And with that, I hope you will accept the award for excellence in ceramics this year.
It's been just a great part, of my life, learning so much from you and just what ceramics has done for me. And so I say thank you for that.
You've experienced so much success in bringing unique forms together with your, really clever verbs. Like looking back on this whole experience and working with clay and all your 4 years in the studio, what particular moments resonate for you?
I feel like it's the feeling you get after you finish a piece. It proves I'm right. Like I love like ceramics. The first time I chose like ceramics class, it's not like something I do impulsively. It's just something like, I really enjoy. I never like expect that the ceramics program can be like so like professional and so like big in Flint Hill. And also is the community, like the clay community in like Flint Hill. It's definitely our like close relationship between like among each other. What I expected, like what I want, it can like actually come true is really like important to like support you. Yeah. The success will like tell you like all these like hard work like deserve.
I just want to honor you today and say that you're receiving excellence in ceramics.
I'm super excited that you have been chosen as our emerging artist in graphic design. It's an award that's given to an artist who has demonstrated excellence and a willingness to continue in the program. And I think that certainly describes you. So congratulations. What about digital art inspires you to continue in the field?
I really like the uniqueness in every piece of art and how there's no like specific guidelines. You can really just create whatever comes to your mind.
While your art is very playful, you yourself, you're like a very serious student when you're working. How do you find that balance between the two?
I generally, when I make my art, I make something that I enjoy. I like to listen to my opinion first. And when you make something that you really like, you can usually spend hours on it and it won't feel like work. It's just something fun that you're creating. And so that's what I always strive for whenever I'm creating something. sense the idea that not every like art piece is the same. I get my confidence from trying new things because there's no guidelines to follow. When I get these ideas, I generally just go along with it because something amazing might come out of it.
Based on 2 years of working together, an enormous amount of amazing work that you've produced, I've decided to award Emerging Artist Award to you this year. In short, it's just somebody who is really serious about what they're doing. And I can't think of any student who's more deserving of this award than you. It's been enormously gratifying for me as your teacher to see how you've grown. And, you know, most importantly, your willingness to just try everything I send your way, even if it seems weird or outside of your comfort zone. You have this willingness and this curiosity. How has the art program at Flint Hill impacted your life outside of school?
Well, it's definitely shown me how much I actually love art. And it's actually, like, when I go to museums and stuff, I think a lot more about the paintings themselves and like the meaning of them. And I just really love the projects that we do because, you know, we go out of our comfort zone. Usually when I do go out of my comfort zone, I find it like really freeing in a way. I really love my peers. They give me really good feedback. Yeah, they're really lovely to work with.
I think you're going to find that taking those risks are going to be really worthwhile and your whole world is going to keep opening up. And I'm just really excited and proud to be on this journey with you. I'm just so honored to have you as a student, and I just sort of wanted to talk to you a little bit about what your experience has been in portfolio art this year, because you don't have the traditional track of moving into portfolio. So before this year, I didn't really know you, and so this has been a wonderful experience for me to get to work with, you know, a non-traditional studio kid to see what your process is.
What I was looking for this year was to see what would be the best thing to do to kind of push myself out of my comfort zone. I think being in that different space and being in a studio-oriented space helped me learn a lot more about my style specifically and what I want to explore and kind of the approach I should be taking with the stuff I make. Being around people who are so good at things that are so different from what you do is very valuable. Being around people like that and collaborating with those people can really inspire you to make a lot more different stuff and kind of stuff that pushes you a little bit more. The most recent film I made, that is when I really felt like I zeroed in on the style of work I want to make. Throughout this year, I've explored some things I liked and some things I didn't like necessarily. And when I made that film, I was so far along into the year that I really felt like this is it. This is the type of work I want to do.
And I've been lucky to have you, not just in graphic design 1 and 2, but also in filmmaking. And then I know you're also a dancer, so we're lucky that we've just had you as such a big part of the arts. If we speak specifically to design for a minute, can you think a little bit about projects or experiences in working that have kind of stood out to you?
Definitely the Nutcracker poster, because that one was fun to work on. We got to build a candy castle, and then obviously because I'm a dancer and all my friends are dancers, I got to work with them to make a poster, and then I was in the Nutcracker. And so all that mixed together was a very fun experience.
One of my favorite projects that you did was your self-portrait book cover, your Design Ninja project. And the reason I love that project is that you always have been a bit of a design ninja in the way you enter the room. You sneak into the room. It's like I don't even know. And then all of a sudden I look up and you're deep in your work. Yeah. And just working so hard. And I think that's one of the things that has made you such an important member of the community. You're always working hard. And I often would scan the room and it's like, where is she? Is she on the floor? She could be anywhere working, you know? You, my dear, are the recipient of the Excellence in Graphic Design Award this year.
What, really?
Yeah.
Aww.
Yes. But I was just wondering, like, if you can think of a couple of moments from the last 3 years that kind of stand out to you, or 4 years, because you had classes.
Yeah, well, in terms of photography, I remember photo one, and I remember like the first assignment. I was like, oh, okay, it's line. Like, I'll just take some line photos. And then I remember you telling me like, I think you can do better. And I was like, you're right. Like, it doesn't really matter like the project. It matters like that you push yourself and you think differently. And then filmmaking too, obviously. I mean, that was such a special class. I remember telling you, I was like, I've never been so excited to come to school. I remember like thinking, I was like, wow, we're really gonna make this short film? Like, that's gonna take forever. But like, I loved the class so much and like all the people that I was convinced that it was like possible. I was like, yeah, let's, like, we could do this.
I thought it was gonna take like 4 classes. And it took the whole semester.
I remember that moment when we had the Batman set up. We had like a makeup hallway. We had a hallway here, and then we had 2 C-stands holding up a slider. And I was like, this is a film class. I was like, we're literally like, this is like a set.
What did you enjoy most about choreographing this year?
I would say just like the experience altogether, like because I've never really I've choreographed like things in class, but never something that was like meant to be on stage. And just like I've always just gone to like dance, and like I've always just learned dances. I've never been on the other side of it. So like being on the other side of it and like it being kind of your piece, and you kind of have like a blank canvas and you can make it anything you want it to be.
What's something that you learned about that whole process that you think might stay with you even beyond dance or high school?
It's okay to change things. Like even if you have an initial idea, it's okay to just like scrap it all together, or find good things to come out of it, and then like rework that in. So like it's okay to kind of like erase and go back and change things.
Yeah. And do you have like a favorite part or a favorite memory, either of the process or a favorite part of the choreography itself?
Seeing it in costumes kind of saw my vision come alive.
What was one of the greatest challenges you had this year in dance?
Well, I think getting sugar plum was a really big role for me, and it kind of like intimidated me a little bit. And so like I worked really hard at that, and like it was my first solo in dance ever. So I think that really pushed me to get better in ballet and kind of my performance quality.
What do you think is the hardest part about being alone on stage?
Kind of keeping the presence and keeping the audience like interested.
And what was your favorite dance memory from this year?
Probably preparing for Arts Jam. I loved the dances, and I loved kind of hanging out with my friends and kind of getting together to work on these really fun and interesting dances.
And what are your goals? What are your goals in dance for the future of your time at Flint Hill and then maybe beyond Flint Hill?
My time at Flint Hill, I'm really excited for Nutcracker. So I don't really care what part I get, but I'm really excited for that. And then Arts Jam, of course, next year. And then past my goal, I either want to major in dance or minor in dance. So those are kind of my, well, not goals, but also like what I'm kind of excited for.
So I'd like to give you, Natalie, what's called the Director's Award in theater for all of the ways that you have participated, and to show, my gratitude and appreciation and admiration for all the things that you've done this year.
Thank you.
One question I had for you, you had been in plays in middle school and then did not for a while in upper school, and then in the fall, we're cast in one of the parts in American theater that has probably the most lines of any part. Even when two people play it.
Yeah. I was really grateful that I had a partner like Nancy to kind of guide me and play off of.
Well, you were really fantastic, and the two of you were really sort of the linchpin of that whole play. I also wanted to ask you about and thank you for coming now 2-3 years in a row to help with the middle school play.
Going and helping the younger actors in the middle school like kind of come into their own and like find their own way in the theater community would be a really good way for me to kind of give back.
Been really active, and I really appreciate everything you've done this year.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have just been crazy about the opportunities to work with you. Thought you were just so wonderful in our town. I'd like to give you what's called the Outstanding Theater Artist Award for the year. So wondered if you had any particular things from the year that you enjoyed about our program. Or
yeah, just the whole experience of the play it's amazing the way you run it. And we put on a pretty great show, I think. By the time we're done, there's obviously a lot of commitment to the program, which is great because other schools some of them aren't as focused on the arts, but here we give a pretty good amount of attention to the arts. So, and then the one axis here, even the way that's run, just the whole student directing process, it's a new thing, and they end up pretty fluid. They're pretty good too.
You're also a student who you're involved in athletics as well.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure. Because I like to be really well-rounded. It really is a great experience to be able to jump from, even sometimes in the same week you go to practice and the next day or at rehearsal.
Your performances have always really come together, and the thing I admire a lot about your acting is how natural it is, and you seem like a real human being. Well, congratulations. Thanks for everything you did this year, and look forward to doing more of it next year. I would like to invite the two of you to be the two students who record the welcome announcement for the Olson Theater for the coming year.
Right.
Wouldn't want to do it with anyone else.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Dynamic duo.
Your voices will continue to fill the Olson Theater next year. Yay.
I remember when we started that tradition. That was one of the best.
I really love it too. I find it very sort of comforting and reassuring and brings back nice memories, and we all feel sort of connected. So I will love listening to you next year as well.
As a senior who's been in choir for all 8 years, my entire time at Flint Hill, it's been amazing, and I'm interested to hear some of your reflections on that time. What's a favorite or a couple favorite memories?
The first Arts Jam really stands out to me. Just the feeling of being on stage with everyone and performing, and knowing that people liked what we did and came to see us and really loved it. It was just so special. I was in tears after because I wasn't expecting it. And now that we're all separated, I keep thinking back to our Nashville trip because we didn't know it would be our last time together, but it was. And, even though it's not ideal, I think it was a really fitting end. I was so happy the entire time on that trip, doing the recording session, exploring Nashville with the choir, just being with my people. Choir was the first place where I really began to be a leader for my peers. I think this was the best part of my Flint Hill experience, being in choir. I considered leaving.
You did?
I considered going to a different high school, but really the big thing that made me decide to stay at Flint Hill was the choir experience here. I don't think I can get anywhere else.
hear from you some thoughts on your last 8 years in choir. You've been in it for the long haul since 5th grade.
One of my favorite memories is the music festival that we went to in, I want to say 7th grade. We got to sing for judges and they got to judge us.
And you won the solo award.
Yeah.
Like, how has being in choir through all of your middle school and all of your upper school years, how has that like shaped you or changed you?
It would not have been as easy to get through middle school and high school if I didn't have choir, because choir is the one place I could go whenever we had class. And I could just forget about anything outside class and just spend the hour or so singing with a group of people that I care about.
And then finally, and we'll both try not to cry, but what's one thing that you'll miss about us all being together? Like, I'll miss starting my day with you guys because you guys are my people, and it was just like really nice to come to work and know that it was your faces I was gonna see.
I think one of them will be the knowing looks we exchange when there is something going on in choir.
Yes, and I do think there's some people following up in your footsteps, but no one quite like you, Simon. I will definitely miss our mind-melding moments, for sure. Okay, so I just wanted to talk to you about these last 8 years in choir. You've been here through the whole thing, my entire time at Flint Hill. What's a favorite memory, or one of your a couple favorite memories?
I remember specifically in middle school, 6th grade. I had never sung in front of anybody, like a solo, or anything like that. In choir, we were doing solo auditions as we did for the spring concert. And I remember you being like, wow, have you been here the whole time? Like, I didn't know you could sing. And it just went on and on and on. And I was like, yay, I can finally sing. And then I remember the solos, coming out and being like, oh my gosh, like Miss P thinks I'm a singer. Like, oh my goodness gracious. And when I sang my solo at the spring concert, I knew that I was going to continue doing it throughout middle school and then throughout high school, and I was never going to stop. I'm really going to miss being in choir and being a part of something that is very much like a family. The people who stayed for all 8 years, they're like my family, and they're my family because I met them in choir and I had done stuff with them. Honestly, if you've ever been in choir at Flint Hill, you are like a choir kid for the rest of your life.
So congratulations on the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award. As you know, this award represents the highest honor that I can bestow upon a student in the jazz ensemble. I'd like to get some questions answered that I think that you would have a lot of insight on. You're one of my first class. So my question to you is, what kept you coming back to band?
I spoke to Miss Cardell about it. And originally she told me percussion. I remember I was walking towards percussion, but then I saw the band room and I saw a shiny trumpet. And I remember I ducked in there, and ever since then I was kind of in love with it. Saw the saxophone, picked up the alto sax, as you know. Yeah. And as soon as I started practicing and started to hear what smooth sounds came out of my instrument, I fell in love with the whole program of band. It was just really like a perfect release for me. And it really brought me like calmness in such a chaotic time. I'd be able to play pieces and push myself, have that feeling and that confidence that you instilled in me. Like, that's what really kept making me come back. You kind of take ownership and it helps in confidence. Also, I really think it helps character building as well. I really honestly do believe. I guess with all that being said, one piece of advice: pick up an instrument, pick up a pencil, pick up a paintbrush, anything. Just dive into it and have fun with it.
Honored to be able to tell you that I've decided to award you the John Philip Sousa Award, which is the highest award that the band program can offer any one student. This award recognizes outstanding musicianship, outstanding leadership, and overall contributions to the band program. But I think that all of the fine arts faculty would be on board with awarding this to you due to your indelible impact that you've had on the program. From 6th grade to high school, that's 7 years of being in the band program here at Flint Hill School. What's kept you coming back every year?
Yeah, I love music, and having band as like an hour of my day every day is a great way to ensure that I keep that part of me, alive and craving some sort of creativity, some creative outlet. Anyone who's been part of it can tell you that, there's so much going on and you're really treated like a professional musician.
Well, so my question, seeing that you've been able to do all these things, what message would you give fine arts students in the future?
Take it seriously, because this isn't an opportunity you'll get again.
That's awesome.
Great time doing it.
That's a great message, and I think that it's a message that not a lot of people stop and consider. Do not stop playing. I will come in and hunt you down. Like I said, this is my privilege, and congratulations.
Well, thank you.
First of all, congratulations, Erica. I've decided to award you the Director's Award in the Jazz Ensemble. This award basically recognizes students who have been a huge influence to their peers, have demonstrated high levels of leadership within the ensemble. I'm so honored to be able to offer you this award.
For me, the biggest thing was the community that I had. We all come together for music because we enjoy music and we really like it. And whether that interest is like new or old, we have a passion, and that I think brings it together. I really love the people I got to be with. The people I met along the way made a pretty big impact in my life and became some of the closest friends I had at Flint Hill. My favorite memory is the New York band trip that I got to go my freshman year. I loved every moment of it. I love bonding with my classmates. Most importantly, getting to know music in the context of New York. My future message or advice to future students is to not be afraid to leave your comfort zone. I think Flint Hill has so much to offer with teachers that will honestly become your life mentors. So try it out. And high school, I think, is a time to just explore your interests. So taking full advantage of that, especially at Flint Hill, it would be an incredible experience. And I realized that 4 years fly by pretty quickly. So yeah, grasping that opportunities.
Decided to award you with the Director's Award. Since you've been with me for 6th grade almost continuously, I think one of the first questions I always want to ask is what kept you coming back?
Once you're in the band, you're always in the band. It's given me an escape. I feel very stress-free, and I can just play and just worry about the music, and I really enjoy that. I just really like music just as a topic, and I listen to it every day, and whether I like playing or listening to it, just very fascinates me.
What's a favorite moment or a couple of favorite moments that you have from being in band?
Playing in middle school back in 6th or 7th grade, and just some of the pieces are memorable, like the dinosaur suite we did in 6th grade. We weren't the best players, but it was a lot of fun and it was a good memory. And then Arch Jam, of course, I'm just so grateful that I even got a chance to in high school.
As a veteran in the fine arts program, what's something that you would want future fine arts students to know?
I would definitely tell them that having a fine arts class is a very good thing. It's really fun and it's different. It's very different from your other classes, and I think it's important to have that kind of diversity in your classes where it's not all just homework and busy work and tests and quizzes. This is a class where it's just as legitimate as every other class, but it's so different in a way that I actually love coming to band every day. So I think if you practice and you pay attention, everything will fall into place.
The National School Orchestra Award recognizes the student who best exemplifies excellence in playing and contributions to the ensemble. I'm really so proud of the work that I've seen you do over the last several years. When I came to Flint Hill, you were in 7th grade. And even then, I was very well aware and very captivated by your determination. I have appreciated all that you have done to be a strong player, to be a committed player in our program, and to be a leader. What has motivated you to stay in orchestra all these years?
Interest, I guess, and just keep wanting to improve and like having goals. Like, you know, eventually I would like play first violin, first chair. Like I would just keep improving to like get to my goals.
What are some of the moments or memories of being in orchestra that will stay with you?
Definitely Arch Jam. I guess it's like unique because like it's not just orchestra playing, it's like all the other ensembles, and also the fact that we get to like have a say in like what pieces we play. I guess being with the orchestra, because that's like, you know, like your main group. So like staying within each other, and also like as a group as a whole, like all musicians and like singers and all that.
It's really the camaraderie. I hear you talking about the camaraderie of just the experience of being there together with everybody. What would you say to others about being in orchestra or about being in any musical group?
I'd say stick with it, because at the end it's like worth it. It's like a good experience.
The Orchestra Directors Award goes to the student who displays leadership in a high school orchestra. Specifically, Avishka, you have demonstrated leadership in a number of ways. I am just very, very grateful to you. You're a wonderful musician, and I have always commented on that. But in addition to being a wonderful musician, you've always brought so much more to our group.
I really do appreciate it. I don't really imagine, like, I can't really picture my whole high school without music as a whole, specifically like you as a teacher, because I've had you since 8th grade. Like, I feel like you have definitely been there throughout, just like the thick and thin. You've been very supportive of me throughout high school, and I appreciate it very much. I was in Arts Jam all 4 years, but I wasn't in orchestra for all 4 years. I did so many things that were music related, but I think the effort and the execution of the orchestra, there's no bigger satisfaction than seeing like this group come together. Being in a music group, being able to take those steps will not only like help you grow as an artist, but grow as like a person. I know as a group we are an orchestra, but like it resonates inside of every single one of the players, and we're such individual artists that like when our sound comes together, it's music, it's beautiful, and I think that's my favorite part about orchestra.